Hello everyone, welcome back to Environmental Performance Evaluation ISO 14031 Part 3. Before we start, let's recall back what we have learned in the previous video. Do you remember? We have discussed about the general overview of Environmental Performance Evaluation EPE that includes 4 items, which are scope, the guideline to give guidance on the design and use of EPE, function, to assess environmental performance and essentially a monitoring tool for helping an organization about environmental aspect, benefit, improve identification and understanding of impact and aspect, and lastly, indicator. The relevant indicator will help organization determine and evaluate risk, objective, and target. Environmental Performance Evaluation ISO 14031 have 4 clauses. The first one is General Overview. Second is Planning EPE Plan. The third one is Using Data and Information Do. And lastly, Reviewing and Improving EPE Act. For this video, we will focus on the 2 clauses, which are Planning EPE Plan and also Using Data and Information Do. Planning of Environmental Performance Evaluation EPE Plan. Introduction of EPE Plan. Basically, it is about general information of EPE Plan. The characteristic of EPE indicators. First, understanding relationship between different measures of performance. Second, selecting management performance indicator MPIs. Third, selecting operation performance indicators OPIs. Fourth, selecting environment condition indicators ECIs. And fifth, selecting sector-specific operational performance indicators for comparison. Introduction of Environmental Performance Evaluation Plan. In general, key performance indicators KPIs help to convert relevant data and information about the management's effort to influence the environmental performance and its operations or the condition of the environment. Choice of indicators. It will determine what data should be used for this EPE. Applying EPE with or without Environmental Management System EMS. All organization has EPE or not should plan EPE in conjunction with setting of its environmental performance goal. Select relevant indicators to evaluate environmental performance and reflect the nature and scale of environmental impacts. Characteristic of EPE indicators. Type of indicator 1, 2, and 3. 1. Understanding relationship between different measures of performance. Organization find cost-effective to select indicators. Indicators EPE selected for management has information and understand the effect of environmental performance objectives. To ensure information on different aspects of such an indication can ease to extracted and communicated to audience. Second, selecting management performance indicator (MPIs). MPIs should provide information on organization capability and efforts in managing matters such as training, environmental costs, management, and etc. MPIs should assist in evaluating management decisions and action to improve environmental performance. 3. Selecting Operation Performance Indicators (OPIs). OPIs provide management with information on the environmental performance of organization operations. OPIs can identify by listing the organization inputs, operational processes, and equipment. OPIs can be selected from components incoming product. Next, we will continue on type of indicator 4 and 5. 4. Selecting Environment Condition Indicators (ECIs). ECIs provide information about local, regional, national, or global condition of environment over time and specific events. ECIs not directly measure of impact on environment. ECIs provide the organization with environmental context to support identification and management of its significant environmental aspects. ECIs provide information on environmental outcomes of change and organization activities, products, and services. 5. Selecting sector-specific operational performance indicators for comparison. OPIs typically express of quantities per unit of time relating to an entire organization or its subunits. OPIs indicators offer insight into each individual entity. Comparisons of their performance is not directly comparing their environmental aspects as represented by OPIs. Comparison can be made of the environmental efficiency of particular activities within processes or products. Environmental aspects compared often need to include those of whole life cycle products. The third process, using data and information, do. Steps for using data and information to evaluate environmental performance. Using do, there is inputs and outputs. Collecting data. The input is sources of data. Next, analyzing and converting data. Data analysis considerations and techniques. Next, assessing information. The environmental performance criteria for comparison. And for the results, reporting and communicating. There is internal factor, which is employees and contractors, while the external factor is interested parties. The first stage using do is collecting data. Data collection should be supported by quality control and quality assurance practices that ensures the data obtained are of the type and quality needed for EPE use. Data collection procedures should ensure data reliability. This depends on factors such as availability, adequacy, scientific and statistical validity, and verifiability. Data collection procedures should include the appropriate identification, storage, retrieval, filling, and disposition of data and information. For example, monitoring and measuring, interviews and observations, regulatory reports, environmental review, audit, assessment reports, and lastly, customers, consumers, and interested parties, business associations. The second stage is analyzing and converting data. Organizations that have developed other recognized programs, such as environmental product declarations, can use this information in EPE without the need for further analysis or conversion of data. First, describe the organization's environmental performance expressed as indicators for EPE. Second, the data collection should be relevant and reliable data to avoid the bias. Third, data analysis include the data quality, validity, adequacy, and completeness necessary to produce reliable information. Fourth, information the organization environmental performance can be developed using calculations, best estimates, statistical methods, and or graphical techniques, or by indexing, aggregating, or weighting. These statistical tools may be used to increase the reliability of decisions on whether or not a certain objective was achieved. The third stage is assessing information. The information from analyzed data, EPIs or ECIs, should be compared with the organization's environmental performance criteria. This comparison may indicate progress or deficiencies in environmental performance. The purpose of comparison is to understand why the environmental performance criteria have or have not been met. The information will describe the organization's environmental performance. Then, the comparison will report it to management to support appropriate management actions to improve or sustain the level of environmental performance. The fourth stage using do is reporting and communicating. Reporting and communicating. It will provide useful information describing an organization's environmental performance improvements and achievements. The information may be reported or communicated to be interested parties within and outside the organization based on management's assessment of needs and its audiences. The benefits: helping the organization's achievement of its environmental performance objective, increasing awareness and dialogue about the organization's environmental policies, environmental performance objective, and relevant achievement. demonstrating the organization's commitment and efforts to improving environmental performance, providing the mechanism to respond to concerns and questions about the organization's environmental aspects. Reporting and communicating have internal and external factors. The internal, the management ensures that appropriate and necessary information describing the organization's environmental on a timely basis. This may assist employees, contractors, and others related to the organization to fulfill their responsibilities and the organization to meet its environmental performance criteria. For example, trends in the organization's environmental performance, such as waste reduction, legislative and regulatory compliance, the organization's conformance with other requirements to which it subscribes, cost savings, or the other financial results, opportunities or recommendations to improve an organization's environmental performance. The external, an organization may choose or may be required to issue environmental reports or statements providing information describing its environmental performance to external interested parties. This communication should be reliable representation of the organization's environmental performance. Information describing the organization's environmental performance should be substantive and presented in a manner that recognizes the level of technical knowledge of the intended audience. That's all for now. We have covered 3 clauses of ISO 14031, which are General Overview, Planning EPE Plan, and also Using Data and Information DUP. See you on the next video for the last clauses. Thank you. Bye.